Jai Baba. Everyone and everything is everyone and everything at the same time and for all time. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Now yesterday I had a call from Ram. Ram is there with us, Nori. And it seems that I was not very clear about some explanations that I gave last time. And I'll just repeat it in very brief, that somebody who is having karmas which we call as negative karma or bad karma, and he is expressing those bad karmas by doing bad deeds, obviously. And as he is doing the bad deeds, simultaneously he is accumulating fresh so-called bad karmas. Thereby, up to here is very clear. I don't know how I must have expressed it at that time, but there was not clarity. And then all of a sudden, this person turns over and becomes a good person. How is it that he has brought bad karmas, but now he is behaving in a good manner? He has become a good person. So my explanation to him, to Ram, was that maybe those karmas are now finished, those over. And now that there's a time or a queue for the good karmas. And the example I gave, of course I gave an ulta example. The ulta example was that somebody who has not done anything wrong in life, he's always led a good life, but still something bad is happening to him. And the example that Jyoti reminded me, because I used to give that in the Pune session, is that you see a man carrying sackfuls of wheat. Wheat, rice doesn't matter. At that time I said wheat, carrying it and putting it in a big container, like a Food Corporation of India ka bada container. So what you're seeing is that wheat is going inside. Wheat is going inside. Hundreds upon hundreds of gunny bags. But what is coming out when you open the tap, the big tap, is rice. How is it that wheat is going in and rice is coming out? The answer is that already there was rice inside. So in other words, if a person is suffering in this life, although you know very consciously that you have not done anything wrong in this life, how is it that dukkha or suffering is coming to you? In my understanding, it is a sure sign that you are wiping away your past karma, which are the so-called negative karma. And on the contrary, instead of crying and weeping, you should be happy about it. I am again repeating, you should be glad and happy about it, that in spite of you not doing anything bad, something bad keeps happening to you. That itself shows that you are wiping out, you are balancing out, you are liquidating your past karma. That means why is this coming? Because Baba's gaze, Baba's nazar is on you. You have exhibited your spiritual strength that you can take on this so-called bad karma and take on the suffering. But as Baba very beautifully says, take care not to wind the chavi, the key again. That means, take care not to brood, not to cry, not to weep, not to wail, not to blame, but take it with magnanimity, take it with the strength with the understanding that this is my own fruit of the seeds which I have sown in the past, and I am going to accept it and not to blame anybody. So that was the clarification. I don't know if Ram is now satisfied. So why a person turns from bad to good or good to bad? My understanding is those samskars are over. Now the turn for fresh samskars coming in. But we have to be watchful not to wind the alarm clock again through actions which are again negative and which could be harmful.
So it was again about the law of karma. So we, first of all, as a human beings, we are not sure how many lifetimes we have been here. Again, we do not know whether we, what are the lessons for this lifetime that we are supposed to learn. And in that we suffer as a human being. We may or may not learn some lessons from it, but at the end of the lifetime that we are supposed to be here, we might just create some new I would say bondages, which we again might have to rip off instead of settling down our previous karmas. And secondly, what is the use of such a law which does not actually make you realize that these were the mistakes in your past? That's what you need to repent for. I mean, that's why you are here. and no one remembers. I mean, at least I don't remember it. So how can we be sure that whatever the suffering that we've currently been that is currently occurring with us, it is because of some past life. And secondly, how do we make sure that instead of not getting entangled into the past karmas, and we will not be creating the new bondages?
Okay. First the question is, how do we know? Answer is we won't know. We will not know because the law is such that it blocks all the past memory. You get a new brain with new wiring, so obviously you won't remember. The memory is only, you won't remember. But the effect of the mind will always be there, number one. Number two, Baba very beautifully says that if you do not, see, basically we are all living a life of illusion, in the sense we are all, I remember one very beautiful episode when Erach was asked, Erach Jasawala was Baba's disciple, Baba's very close disciple and one of the resident Mandli, who was asked that, and he used to say, and Baba used to say, that please understand that you are not the doer. Please understand that you are God. You understand that you are God. Even if you don't experience you are God, at least behave as if it is not you who is doing, as if it is Baba who is doing through you. The law of as if, which we have been repeating here over last several times. Just behave as if it is not you who is doing. Then somebody asked Erach, how can we fool ourselves into thinking that we are not doing it and that God is doing this? How can we fool? Because that's a lie. How can we fool ourselves? And Erach's superb response was that the fact actually is that God is doing it, but you are fooling yourself into believing that you are doing it. Am I making sense? So once we understand that the fact is that we are God, the whole problem is that we do not want to get out of this dream that I am the doer. And good that you ask this question, and never say sorry I am asking. It's good that we are asking. I will just make Soumya read one passage. See how Baba has arranged. This was not on my agenda, but since you asked the question, I will just ask her to read this, which is more or less appropriate to what you are asking. Because the basic thing is, we all are going through the same, we are all in the same boat. Milind never for a moment think that I or somebody else is above somebody else, that we know everything. No, we are all like, Erach's very patent sentence was when somebody would ask, how are you keeping, what's going, he would say it in one word, lingering. They are lingering. So we are all in that, we are all struggling. In a sense, we are all struggling to reach to the goal. But Baba says that there is no need for struggle. There is no need for effort. You have to be in a state of effortlessness. Let things happen in the natural course. Do not react to things that are happening to you, and automatically things will array itself, things will settle itself in such a manner that you will be at peace, you will be at calm, you will be in tranquility. But no, we want to have control over everything. I want to feel that I took this decision, I made this choice, I have done this, I have done that. That is the whole issue. Now Soumya will read out a small passage. This is from Lord. You can read that later on. Okay.
Remember the story about the parrot who was free from the beginning but did not know what freedom meant? It was put into a cage and inside there learned what the meaning of freedom was. When it was released, it fully realized its freedom and enjoyed it. Its freedom was taken away. It was put in a cage simply to make it conscious and give it the knowledge and experience of what was freedom. In the end, it came to know what freedom really meant and hence know itself.
This is very important. We must understand that unless and until we experience bondage, we will not be able to experience and appreciate what freedom is. That means the entire opposite of what is will actually make you later on experience what is. In other words, this entire creation, which is nothing but an illusion, a shadow, a dream, we are all in a sense fussed in it, we are all caught up in it. It is a necessary prelude to the real awakening. We have to experience this, only then we will be able to appreciate the other one, which is the truth, which is the reality, which is unison, oneness, otherwise, whatever you call it, the real awakening. So we are all in that game. And Baba gives a superb example about a parrot which was always free but did not know what freedom is. In order for that parrot to know experientially what freedom was, it needed a temporary caging. So you catch the parrot, put it in the cage, let the parrot experience what is the meaning of being caged, being bound, and only then again you free. Now the parrot is exactly in the same state as it was before being caged, but now it experientially knows what freedom is. So this aspect of binding, caging, bondage, whatever you call it, is a very, very important and integral part. So go ahead.
In the same way, our body is like a cage and our spirit is like the parrot.
This is a cage. We always are suffering because of the cage. But the parrot is the spirit. We are actually spirit and not body.
If I were to tell you that you are Ishwar, God, you would not believe it, because your ridiculous idea of God is of some old man with a white beard watching you from an armchair in heaven. You say to yourself, how can I, a lowly human, be God himself? You are afraid of the very idea that you are God. But it is a fact.
Baba says it's a fact that you are Ishwar.
It is your ignorance of that knowledge, the false impression of the mind that you are men, which prevents you from experiencing that you are God.
See, when we say that God is infinite, it means every single dot space is nothing but God, obviously. For those who heard yesterday my talk on the live talk on the YouTube with Hyderabad, where I said that the minuscule so-called, as I said, 1/100th of the diameter of a hair is what COVID-19 is all about, the size, and yet Baba is in it. That means in other words, how can we, you and I, not be having God within us? And Baba had given a very beautiful formula, so to speak. For example, this was a question from Milin. So who's Milin? When you say Milin, who is Milin? Milin thinks, I am this body, I am living in such and such a place, I am rich, I am poor, I am ignorant, I am whatever, I am smart, whatever, I have got so many questions to ask and all that. But actually, Milin is what? Milin is equal to God plus Sanskaras. You understand? Milin, what is Milin? It's a coagulated mold, a compressed mold of God. God has to be there. Without God, there cannot be Milin. You see? So God is there, but the God is covered, enveloped, shrouded, geared by mountains upon mountains of sanskaras or impressions. So Milin has not to bring God from somewhere outside. All he has to do is to remove what he is not, which means he has to remove the whole lot of sanskaras. And that is why Baba is in no hurry. He has given us 84 lakhs of life and death, life and chakkar, we call it punarjanam, reincarnation. And in those reincarnation processes, one mountain after the another, one kachra out of the another, we keep on weaning away or weeding out. So basically Milin is equal to God plus sanskaras. If Milin wants to become God, it is not come, he is, but you have to become, in the sense you have to remove the kachra. So I hope I am very clear. So here again Baba is saying the same thing, that you are Ishwar, but you will say, how can I be? I am just a small petty person, how can I be God? We are all in the same boat, God plus kachra. Our job is to remove the kachra. That's all. Go ahead.
For example, you can see things when awake, but in sleep you do not see although you still have eyes. Because you cannot see during sleep, does it mean you do not have eyes? No. The fact that you have eyes remains the same throughout, during wakefulness as well as during sleep. But this difference of seeing during wakefulness and not seeing during sleep is a difference in the state of the mind functioning.
Very beautiful example. You have eyes and you can see during the period when you are awake. The same eyes are remaining, but when you go to sleep, the eyes do not see anything. Does it mean that you do not have eyes? No. It simply means that your eyes are there, but you are unable to sleep, but unable to see because you are in sleep. In the same way, you are God, but you are unable to see yourself as God because you are asleep. Asleep in the sense of not really awake, not awake in the real sense. We are all dreaming the dream of, creation. The once that dream ends, then we will realize the truth. Like Baba would say, this is not what Baba said. I give the example that a dream becomes a dream only when you wake up. Try to understand. A dream is never a dream as long as you are dreaming. It's only when you wake up that you realize, that was all a dream. In the same way, Baba says that all that you see and you hear and you do and you feel and whatever is nothing but a dream. But I feel that I am awake. Now I am talking, people are listening, somebody is talking, I am listening. I think this is the awake state. But Baba calls this a false awake state. But I think that it is a real thing, a real state, real awake state. Now when the real awakening takes place, because Baba is saying this is a dream, but I say no Baba, how can it be a dream? I can see I am talking, I am walking, I am eating, I am doing all these things. Only when I really awaken in the real sense, what Baba means, then I will all this that we did, the Zoom and and the team link and the Monday, Wednesday, Friday and all that was nothing but a dream. But that this is necessary for me to really awaken. And how can I really awaken? One of the key factors is that we hold on to Baba's Daman, that we remember him constantly, that we make him our constant companion, and most importantly, remember him when we breathe our last. Because that is Baba's promise, that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last comes to me. Comes to me meaning you will experience mukti or moksha, meaning you will experience infinite bliss eternally, meaning you will not have to come back again in the world of duality, in the world of the creative world. So that is what Baba has been promising, and we are all harping and what should I say, counting on that Baba's promise, that this is one life. I must have lived millions, you would have lived millions of lives. I do not know, we do not know. But in this life, we have had the good fortune, one, of being born during the Avtaric advent, Avtaric period. One, because Avtaric period is still on. Number two, we have had the good fortune of having the name of Meher Baba. There are millions upon millions who may not know his name. Number three, we are not only knowing his name, but we are associated with him, with his work, with his name, in remembering him, in loving him, in holding on to his Daman. So because of these beautiful blessings that we have had, for whatever reason, we must, I repeat, we must make it a point to make this life as the last life, and do not wait for another 700 years for Baba to come, because Baba said he'll come after 700 years. Come and say the same thing to us. God knows how many times he must have said the same thing in the past. But forget the past, as Christ, as Muhammad, as Buddha, as Ramakrishna, he may have told us, but we have forgotten or we have not taken it seriously. Now that we've had this opportunity to know from his own mouth, so to speak, take my name. I think we should capitalize on that. We should, we should take the maximum advantage of that and see that in this life itself we get moksha or mukti. Reading on, Baba is saying now.
Suppose you have 1 crore rupees. However, you do not carry all of it in your pocket. That does not mean that you do not own the money and are penniless. So, I want you to know that every one of you is God, but you just do not know.
So Baba said, just as you may have 1 crore of rupees, but you may not be carrying it all the time, and you may not know, therefore you may not know that you have 1 crore of rupees. In the same way, Baba says, that does not mean that you... So the last line, Baba says, remember God says, so I want you to know that every one of you is God, but you just do not know it. This is from Lord Meher, volume 3, page number 789. When I say volume 3, I mean the grey book, the volume, the original book, this book, the grey book, which came as the first edition. After that we have the red book now, which very beautifully the Hyderabad Center, Balaji Meher Monwani publication has published it. So this was in 20 volumes. Now that has been concise not in the sense of leaving certain matter, but photographs were made small and the print was made smaller. So now it is in 8 volumes. Lord Meher. It's nice to clarify things and try to understand as best as we can with our limited intellect. This is all intellectual gymnastics. Like when Baba gave Godspeed, he said, to appease, that is to satisfy, to appease the intellectual convulsions of man, he has given these words. Convulsions, when we get into a fit, that's a kind of a convulsion. So Baba said, just to appease the intellectual convulsion of man, Baba had given these words. Okay, Devki, is your question saying that is it okay to bother Baba? Is that what you are saying with question answers? You want me to narrate what happened about? No, you want me to narrate about the Don Stevens episode? Is that what you're saying?
I just want to know what Baba's thought was about talking to him.
Okay. Okay.
I'll share our day-to-day happenings.
I'll share what I heard from Don's mouth himself. From the horse's mouth, so to speak. Wow. In a brief. Once it so happened that Baba is always very outgoing, very loving, very kind, very benevolent, especially to outsiders. That was not the experience of the Mandli. He would be really very tough and rough with the Mandli. Most of the time, he would be very strict, in short. Of course loving, but in his own way. So when Don would be going to Mehrazad time and time again, Baba would be very nice and very outgoingly loving. But once when he went, Baba seemed to be seeing away from Don. Means he was not really his usual self with Don. And obviously Don was perturbed, Don was disturbed as to what have I said or what have I done that Baba is so, so distant from me. So ultimately, and now this is my, as I say, always say, I add a little mirchi masala to the story, rightly or wrongly, but the final serving seems to be tasty. So as we say, through Mary to Jesus, so if anything had to be conveyed to Jesus, it would be via Mary. So in the same way, if any lady had to convey something to Baba, they would go via Mehra. So when Mehra says this to Baba, normally by and large, Baba would never refuse Mehra anything. So with men it would be like Erach. So people would hint Erach that this is what it is and can you just find out from Baba or tell Baba. So this is what Don did through Erach to find out why Baba is so very not his usual self. And the story that I heard was that Don's mother had died about a month back, and it seems, now there are quite a few stories circulating, that he did send send a telegram or something to Baba, and that was it, nothing beyond that. So when Dawn came to Mehrazad, it seems that Baba expected him to again repeat what all happened at that time of the death and what all happened, maybe. So Dawn got to know that Baba was not happy with Dawn because he did not speak it out to Baba when he visited Mehrazad. So Dawn told to Baba, but Baba, you know already. And Baba said, no, it is your duty. Sorry? Yeah. Dawn said, but Baba, you are God. You know everything. And Baba said, no. These are words to the effect. Whenever I say Baba said, Baba indicated, I am paraphrasing. Baba said, that no, it is your job, it is your duty to tell me everything that happens to you in your life. Words to the effect. And it struck Dawn so deeply that now Dawn says that from that day onwards, every day, at the end of the day, I would stand before Baba's photograph. When we say Baba's photograph, we must accept that it is Baba and not a photo or not a picture. He stands before Baba and tells everything that transpired during that particular day. And this Dawn told me long years after Baba dropped his body. And he says that even till date, Baba has dropped his body. Even to date, every day I make it a point to speak to Baba, to tell Baba all that happened during the day, so that Baba should not turn out and say, you did not tell me this. So that was what the story that Dawn had told me. Is that what you wanted me to narrate, Devki?
Yeah. And I guess it also answers that we should share.
Yes.
With
See, there are very many.
Thank you so much.
I'll just extend that thought a little further. There are genuine people who feel that we must never ask anything from Baba. Genuine Baba people, close Baba people, Mandli, never ask Baba, because Baba knows exactly what to give, whom to give, how much to give, when to give, etc., etc. What is the need of asking? To ask of the beloved is an insult to love. Baba himself said, in the highest of the high message, he says, what is this point? If you take me as the highest of the high, then I must know what I should give and whom I should give. So it is senseless to ask me. On the other hand, there are equal number of people, including the Mandli, I say close Mandli, who says, who else do we ask for? Baba is the be all and end all for us. He is everything for us. If we do not ask Baba, whom do we ask? किधर जाएंगे हम लोग? हम तो बाबा के बच्चे हैं, हम तो बाबा को ही पूछेंगे. So now there is one group who said never ask. One group you must always ask. Even the smallest of things you must always ask. Then there is the middle part who may say, कि ये है हमारी अर्जी, आगे तुम्हारी मर्जी. So we put the arji, the request to Baba, and then leave it to Baba, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. That is the third kind of people. So now with Dawn's story, I have come across a fourth type of people, which seems to be the best. We are not making any arji. We are neither asking nor not asking. We are neither asking, nor asking, not saying this is my arji, aage tumhari marji. We are simply telling Baba. We are simply informing Baba. We are simply keeping Baba abreast, updated with what is happening in our life. In today's bhasha, we say we have put Baba in the loop, that what is happening. Now we leave it to Baba, कि जो भी करने का है करो. So this is the way we, and Baba enjoys it all. I am sure Baba wouldn't mind if you ask the smallest of the thing, and Baba would not even mind if you don't ask. This is all happening in the domain of illusion. So let's enjoy as long as we are in illusion. Like Hafiz says, that both the suffering as well as the joys of this world are illusory. So why should I not always be happy? Why should I not be happy? When both are illusory, let me choose the better of the two illusory aspects of remaining joyful, happy, content, less desire, less running after this and that and all that. And if we follow those norms, it is the law. See, the basic thing we don't understand is that desires always bring suffering. Just like how expectations always bring suffering. Attachments always bring suffering. This is the law. There is nobody and nothing that can go beyond law except Baba's grace. That's a different ball game. We are not going into that kshetra, into that domain. But basically, if you have desires and bound to be suffering, if you are running after, expectations, suffering, attachments, anything, attachment to your parrot, attachment to your pet birds, attachment to your dog, attachment to your mother-in-law, everything brings suffering. My mother-in-law is listening and smiling. Okay.
Nita.
So, okay, now Nita, Devki, am I clear about what I, Devki?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baba. Now Nita has a question.
Thank you for this question.
Nita,
Yeah.
Nita, Komal and then Kajal.
Jai Baba Cyrus, can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you very well now and then also. Go ahead.
I have road works continuing, so there may be a sudden roar of engines. But this refers to your previous thing when you said that we all are God. And when we realize this, that we are a combination of God and karma, how do we prevent ourselves from becoming pompous about that fact? Sometimes when we say that we are God, so our little minds may tell us, oh, we are God, we can do whatever we want, we leave it to Baba, and we're offering it to Baba, so it's all right. I'm just saying that there is a tendency for us as human beings to say, oh, if we are God, then how do we prevent that big-headedness to come?
When you become
not
pompous,
coming?
I understood. When you say you are becoming pompous towards whom? Towards another God, your husband, your child, your whatever. Ultimately everything is God. So when we say you are God, it doesn't mean that I am God and you are not God. It simply means that everything is God and everybody is God. So there is no question of being big-headed or pompous. It's only when I say I am God, but Soumya is not God, then I can become a little pompous. You got me? When the I am God is to be taken with that understanding that everyone and everything, as I started the prayer, everyone and everything is everyone and everything at the same time and for all time, and I am adding one line, and that everyone is God and that everything is God. So there is no scope for us to become pompous. Got it?
Yeah. Now coming back to the question of asking Baba for something or not,
Yes.
yeah, I always felt, I come into the category, where I won't ask. If he gives it, or even if he doesn't give it, I still inform him. Okay, it didn't happen.
Great.
I wanted. But I had this discussion with my brother, Anil, and he says, if I don't ask him, who else can I ask him? The father. So thanks for clarifying
correct.
that. In the highest of high, I'm going to inform him. You said the highest of the high. Of course, I'm as you know, I've not read many books. I'm Baba illiterate. I only took introduction. So what I'm going to say is, in the highest of high, so he did say that, you can ask him, right?
No. On the contrary,
You cannot ask
he
me.
said that you should never ask me for anything. He was
Yeah.
very, he came about very strongly in favor of not asking. But then there are other very close monthly people. I'm talking about very close monthly people who would say, who else do we ask? हमारा दूसरा कोई है ही नहीं life के अंदर. It is him only. He is like our father, our family member. Why should we not ask him? So that's why I said that there are so many different stories, so many different principles rotating. So in my opinion, the best thing would be, as you rightly say, bata de. Means just tell him that, and then let him do with whatever that data that he has got in his computer now. Let him churn out whatever he wants to do with that.
No, I see. I used to have this discussion with my brother. I would say I don't ask. but I still inform him, whether good happens or bad happens.
Correct.
Hey, this. So he used to say, what happens if he asks you, why didn't you tell me before? So I would say, but he knows everything. If he doesn't know, see, we are all predestined. I mean, he wrote what's going to happen.
Right,
So he knows it.
Right,
So
right.
even if it doesn't happen, we always aware of the opinion that he's got something better for us.
Correct. So you are in the boat where you feel that we should inform. Am I right in understanding you?
You should not ask, but you should inform.
बस
No
बस
matter what
वही
happens.
हम लोग वही मुद्दे पे आए थे. Correct. We came to the same. Yes, Sammy has some question.
No, I just like to make a point on this.
Yes,
That
please.
It all depends on how we take Baba to be. If we take him to be in the physical form that he has come amongst us, then we take him as our father and whatever, and we tell him all our problems, ask him for whatever. If we take him to that great big God with the Dariwala and this and that and the other, then of course he is all knowing and we don't ask him whatever. So each one has their own relation, individual relation with Baba. And nobody is right and nobody is wrong. In Baba's love, anything goes. That's what I feel.
Correct. Right, Sammy, right. Delna has something to share.
Delna?
Jai Baba Sai Soumya.
Jai Baba Delna.
On this sharing bit, I would just like to share something about what I experienced with Baba along with Riya. Is that okay? Can I share that?
Why not? Everything is okay.
So I remember when I came to Baba initially, and before Baba it was Jesus. So I always asked, that let Riya come home for Christmas, please. Can you let her come home for Christmas? If not Christmas, then Diwali. So I was always asking. Even after a person introduced me to Baba and I saw Riya's connection with Baba, it never stopped. I could never stop asking till I reached one point where I thought everything was falling in place and Riya's going to come home. But everything changed. The nurse backed out and we couldn't find ventilator to take her home. So I was very frustrated and I got very angry and I, lashed out at Baba and I told person, I don't think he's gone, he's not doing anything for me. And so she said, just step out of the hospital. And when I stepped out, something dawned on me and I said, why am I asking him? If I take him to be God and if he knows what needs to be done, then why do I need to ask him? So that was my turning point where I said, what, Baba? I'm never going to ask you to send Riya home. All I'm going to do is be by her side. If this is a test, then you test me. And I think when I stopped asking, that's when the doctor started discussing Riya's discharge from the hospital. So after that day, I have never asked. Even people till today ask me, when is Riya's track coming out? So now my answer is when Baba decides.
Correct. So again, it's an individual experience that nothing right, nothing wrong. Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, the
thank
joke
you.
in Myrtle Beach. The joke in Myrtle Beach is it's called it goes off a highway called 17. So it's called North 17 joke. Says if you don't ask Baba, you might get it. If you ask Baba, you will not get it.
Okay. Well, again, it's an individual, as I said, each one is having individual relationship with Baba, and whatever works for you, you just make it work for you. But be assured, be wise enough to know what to ask. Because stupidly, if you ask for some foolish desires, then they may be fulfilled, and they may take you a little waylaid, and you may take a longer time to reach the goal. Who knows? So anyway, so do we have any more questions or do we call it a day? It's 6:35, going 6:35. If anybody has any questions, then yes, Merjoti.
Yes, I have just explanation. It's not explanation, but that's my understanding. When my parents they are now in a very, very old age, but
Yes.
they never ask anything to Baba.
Excellent. We have been
So
seeing,
many-
sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but we have been seeing them on the screen, your papa and mama. We have been seeing them, your Mayor Krupa would show them on the screen many times.
Okay.
And, so I'm
okay.
just saying that we all know your parents, and once he also shared about his experiences. So thank you, but go ahead. Sorry to interrupt, but please go ahead.
No, it's okay, but they never ask anything or demanding anything from Baba.
Yeah.
But as per my situation, I don't have. Now I'm hearing all this discussion and somebody saying we are saying God and we are saying this and that. But I thought just now just that I didn't give any name to him. Whether he is a God or whether he is this one or that one.
Okay.
But I always keep him in my thought, trying to keep him in my thought.
Good.
And I always saying to my dad, okay dad, why don't you ask to Baba?
Mm-hmm.
And then the same answer, what is the confusion is there. So the same answer is coming that Baba is a God, so he knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And my interpretation is there, if he is a God, okay, he is a Paramatma or something else, okay, but we should inform him or we should involve him in our daily activities. In daily activities, and that the answer has come within a second or within a minute or something like that.
Okay.
So what is the Sam says it's one thing. So I think that those Baba lovers are very, very old age and the Baba was there and that one. Even I discussed with one thing when the Pratap uncle was very, very sick during his time. So I told him, why don't you ask Baba, help me or something. And Pratap uncle gave the same answer as my dad has given the same thing.
Yeah,
So
excellent,
no, he
excellent.
has a God.
Excellent.
So I don't want to ask anything. What is he giving? It's his prasad.
Good.
So these are the differences are there, but it's like that.
Thank you, Majoti. We got one more word from you, a word of wisdom, which of course we always speak about, that not only inform but involve him in our life. When we say you make him our constant companion and all that, we are involving him. But that word is a very beautiful word that you use, whether consciously or unconsciously, but it helps all of us that we inform at the end of the day maybe, but during the process of the day we involve him in our work. So thank you, Majoti. Thank you. Okay then.
Cyrus, I have a question.
Oh my God, who's this? Nimesh.
This is
Hey Nimesh, yaar. Bolo Iraj.
थोड़ा complex
बोलो
है.
Iraj.
Bol Nimesh, bol. Let us see your face. Let us see your face. Nimesh is the one who acts as Iraj in all our dramas, Bombay Center dramas, for the last 19-20 years. And he looks so similar to Iraj also. Okay, Nimesh, go ahead.
Yeah. So when we talk about this talking to Baba, okay, and when all Baba lovers, okay, suppose they are working in a group and for a purpose, okay, suppose there is a play or something, or there is some activity which they are planning,
Okay.
and because of conflicting thoughts, they are not able to arrive to a conclusion, and each and everyone thinks that he is speaking what Baba is speaking in his mind.
Wow.
So in that situation, how does each and everyone think and talk to Baba and come to a conclusion? That is what I was trying to find out, understand.
And the best part is that Baba is talking to 10 different people, 10 different answers, isn't it? That's what your problem is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, in that case, I really don't know. The only thing is Baba used to always go by, I'll give you the answer. Baba used to always go by, see, in a democratic way. Now we are all assuming that it is Baba prompting me to do this. And 10 different people are being supposedly prompted by Baba, 10 different answers. then the most practical thing to do would be either to follow what the leader is saying, because our Baba always said that you must follow the leader, whosoever that may be. And the second, otherwise, very practical thing which Baba used to do during his ministry was to take a vote, to do things in a very democratic manner. That is what my contention is, and then go with it. But Sam has something to share here.
Archana is saying invite Baba.
Archana also has something to say, and Sam has something to say. Yes, Sam, come in.
Dr. Bhushan Bharucha used to tell me that Baba always told him just one simple sentence. Give in for work whenever there is difference of opinion. Give in for work and give up for love. If you love somebody, give up whatever your personal demand. Give up for love and give in for work.
But then Sami, sorry, but then if all the 10 people give in, then what is the decision to be taken? That's the whole issue, na?
Absolutely.
Nimesh.
If 5-6 people are going this way,
No, everyone is going different.
Okay. But that's a very beautiful sentence. Give in for work and give up for love. Thank you, Sami. Okay, somebody else wanted to share. I think it was
Archana.
Archana, you want to share something on this?
No, I don't want to share. I've had this experience, like whenever we have our meetings for the OC. Okay,
Yeah.
so when there is any such problem, then what I generally do is actually invite Baba to be present there, and things automatically settle down, and we come to a conclusion.
No, but Archana, I think Nimesh's experience is that everybody is inviting Baba in the meeting, and Baba being Baba and he is very smart, he is giving different answers to different people. So now, how do we go about, And let me tell you, Baba had this habit, When I'm just digressing. When Baba would be traveling in a train, he would tell one of his followers, one of his mandali, "Are kitna garam hai, it is so hot. Why don't you just open up all the windows so that fresh air comes?" And after some time, he would be telling the other, unbeknown to the first one, that kitna hawa tej chalta hai, I am feeling so much chilly and cold, so why don't you just pull down the... And then Baba would enjoy. One person is taking the window up and the other person is bringing it down, and you are not supposed to fight in presence, you are not supposed to complain, you are not supposed to have any kind of, bring it to Baba. So that was Baba's way of functioning. So we never know that way. So if we take, like Baba very beautifully said, one of the things which Baba says, Jane deo. Don't make an issue out of small things. Just give in and finish it off. The other thing that Baba says, take life lightly and God seriously. Once we do that, then by and large, all that we face in life does not make a big issue out of it. So I don't know, Nimesh, whether you got the answer or not, or if you did not get the answer, then maybe Baba wants you to struggle a little more. So enjoy the struggle. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I infer.
Yeah.
Enjoy the struggle.
Enjoy the struggle. Okay then.
Devki
Thank you very... Devki has something to say? Devki? No. Okay, fine. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.